Hello everyone, this is your weekly update. We'll start with some staffing numbers first. Total staffing this week is 2565. Patrol actually has 1,051 bodies in it. However, 60 of those are light duty, 7 are in critical incident protocol, 21 on the military leave, which leaves a total of 963 working bodies in patrol. Chief DePonzio called me yesterday to more or less stave off a rumor before it actually happens. He had a patrol division staffing meeting with all the commanders, and what he challenged them to do was to come up with an appropriate or adequate staffing level for each of their areas, all of the shifts, and he reiterated to them that minimum staffing number isn't the maximum. So minimum staffing number is not an acceptable staffing number, because clearly it's unsafe. It doesn't provide for a lot of backups and stuff like that. So he has challenged them to identify what a realistic staffing number should be, and then to bring it back to him. What he didn't want people to think that was happening was that he was just on his kill the supplemental overtime guys and don't let them work overtime. But they have to be smarter with the amount of money they're spending on overtime. But it can't come at the expense of officer safety. So he agreed with that comment that I made to him. So anyway, if you hear about it, that's what's going on. If you have questions about it, give me a call here and we can talk about it. A couple things have come up in the last couple weeks, couple instances. So the retention bonus that most of us signed, the majority of us signed it in February of 2022. Which means in February of 2024, our commitment to the retention is up, right? So if you leave after that date, there's no repayment requirement, obviously. But what's coming up is folks who are hitting their 20 years and are leaving under normal retirement. Well, a couple of them have had $7,500 removed from their final check, and they couldn't understand why, because they retired. So as a reminder, the retention incentive agreement actually says that if you separate from city employment by either resignation, retirement, or termination within 2 years, that money is to be repaid. Now, there is a provision in there that allows the city HR director and the city manager to discuss whether or not there can be a variance. However, that variance if they waive it, it's going to be in the best interest of the city. What I would suggest to you is, if you are looking at a normal retirement, the easiest way to not have to fight with this is to just wait until after that February 2024 date. If you just absolutely have to leave before then because of some sort of family crisis, something going on beyond your control, make sure to call me first. We can discuss it, and we can get an email off to the city HR director so he can talk to the city manager about a variance for that. It's a lot easier to deal with on the front end than trying to play catch up after you've received your final check and it's $7,500 late. All right, last thing I want to talk about is this DOJ stuff. So we still don't know when their findings report is going to be ready to come out and be presented to the city. Clearly, we are different, and I mentioned it before in other videos, we're different from other cities that are under DOJ consent, because in those cities, the mayor had the ability to sign and agree to that. In our city, the way our government is set up, the city council itself has to vote to approve or not to approve entering into this agreement. So I've been having many meetings with folks within city government. Our city lobbyist has been helping us with those meetings as well, and encouraging them to not enter into an agreement just simply because of the destructive nature of these consent decrees. In last week's video, in the body of the email, there is links to every one of the city council members, their phone numbers. There's the emails are hot links to their email, and along with the city manager. So I would encourage each and every one of you, not as city employees, to send emails to those folks encouraging them to not enter into an agreement that will destroy the department, the city, and will ultimately make this community a place of high crime and lower police numbers, because, I mean, really, let's be frank, who wants to stay here and work under a consent decree when you can go to a neighboring department and maybe work not under a consent decree, right? I'm not saying that'll happen, but there's options, obviously. So pass that along to your friends, your family, your neighbors. Encourage them to write that email. With city council folks, I've learned that if they get 10 emails, that's a crisis. So I want to make a super crisis for them where they're getting hundreds of emails. So again, I can't stress it enough. Send your thoughts respectfully to them, not as a city employee. All right, well, I guess that's all I have for this week. So until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we will see you.